All right, we're going to start up front. It does have the two 12-volt batteries on the front. It does have solar panels up on top. That's the reason for having the two batteries and a 12-volt refrigerator. On your gas bottles, two 20-pound cylinders that are full, except for what we use to service the trailer. The arrow on the regulator is pointed towards this bottle over here, showing you red inside the eye. As soon as we would happen to open this one up, it's going to turn green on the inside. As soon as this bottle would happen to come empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye where it was, indicating that the bottle it's pointed to is empty. If the cylinder on the other side is opened up, it'll automatically pick up from over there so you don't lose your gas service in the middle of the night. It's still going to show you red inside the eye that the bottle it's pointed to is empty, and it's having to pick up from the one on the opposite side. On the front, we do have a hookup light for hooking up at nighttime, your up and down button, and a manual way that we can go in through the top to manually crank that jack up or down. For any reason it won't go on its own, there is a manual way to crank it up and down. It also has a 7-way holder on the side that holds the chains up off the ground and your 7-way to keep it from getting corroded. Your gas bottle cover has the two tabs underneath the gas bottle cover that a bungee cord will go underneath the metal rack, holds it in place, but you also have the quick disconnect at the top so that you don't have to take the gas bottle cover off every time that you want to turn the propane cylinders on or off. As we start down this side over here, in your first compartment is your water fill compartment. It does have a 2-way light. It's motion censored. They're on 24/7. We have the two manual crank handles on the front wall. The little S-curved one is for the tongue jack on the front. The bigger one right above it is for the slide rooms. We'll start up at the top. It does have a 110 outlet at the top that is protected by the GFI-C outlet in the bathroom. Little black switch on the side here turns your LED, that's two strips on the front of the trailer on. Then you also have your park cable and satellite hookup. We also have a battery disconnect so that if you don't want the refrigerator or your 12-volt appliances draining the battery while you're not using it, you just turn it, pull the key out, push it back in, turn the key back on for the 12-volt lights to work on the inside. It does have an outside shower with a quick disconnect hose that connects right in here and also connects to the port spray at the very back of the trailer so that you have water on both sides. We also have our digital readout for the solar panels that tells you what the solar panels are putting out to the batteries when it's out in the sunlight. Your first white connection down at the bottom is your freshwater tank fill. When you're hooked to that with a water hose and a pressure regulator to fill your freshwater tank, you can go into the monitor panel, push your freshwater button, and watch it fill up 1/3, 2/3 full. The black connection right behind it is your city water connect. That if you didn't want to fill the tank, you can hook to it with the water hose and regulator and never have to fill the freshwater tank, work right off the water pressure going to it. It does have a little compartment hole in the bottom that you can bring your water lines up and your park or satellite cable hookups so that you can leave the big door shut so the rest of your stuff's not exposed to the outside. Next connection back, we do have the two balancing jacks on the front and back of the trailer that come down until they hit the ground, and just a little bit past that, they just stabilize the trailer while you're walking through the center of it. They won't level from side to side, and they are independently switched. Also, while we're right here, there is a little white valve hanging underneath the trailer with the blue line hooked to it. It is your freshwater tank drain for draining the freshwater tank. And as we step back through here, the lug nuts on the trailer has been torqued at 100 foot-pounds, is what's recommended on the side. They are air nitro pressure, which is 65 pounds on the side of the tire code. And they also have the nitro gas in them instead of having air inside of them. So if you're out on the road and one will come low on you, you can put air in on top of it. But if you want the pure nitro fill, you have to take it back to like a Plaza Tire or a car dealership and have them suck the air back out and put the gas back into it. Two more switches here in the back that operates the two stabilizing jacks in the back. We do have another hookup light for hooking up the termination valve. And up underneath by the frame, the black handle is your toilet water. The second gray handle is your bathroom sink and shower. The third gray handle is the kitchen sink water only. And they'll all come out where the termination cap is. 50-inch service cord. Goes on, makes a quarter of a turn, tighten up the black knob. The cord's 30 foot long. We have another water connection fitting back here in the back that is for the black tank flush, that while you're dumping the nasties out of the black tank, you can hook a water hose and regulator to this, and will help kind of flush out the black tank only. Does have a ladder for going up and checking the roof. Always take care of the roof. The roof is one of the most important things on the trailer. Every 90 days, it doesn't hurt to look at it. You don't have to seal it every 90 days, but the quicker you can find a problem with the roof and fix it, the better off you are. It is also prepped for a backup camera. Then if you wanted to add the backup camera so you can see what's behind the trailer as you're backing into the spot. We also have a Parkland RV Center cover over the spare tire. Quart spray hookup. The little blue hose that hooks up to the outside shower in the front compartment will also come back here and give you cold water only on this side of the unit. Outside kitchenette's next. We're going to lift and open it up. On the side of the wall, it has a light switch that turns the light above us on. It has a USB port and a 110 outlet on the left-hand side. Does have an outside TV. When we run the auto scan on it, got 42 channels on the outside with the antenna on top and the booster that's inside. Outside propane grill, pulls out. Doesn't have a locking mechanism, so you put the hose onto it. Once you connect the hose to the outside grill, the hose keeps the grill from going back inside the hole. Then the propane grill hose comes down and hooks to the first connection underneath the metal on the side of the trailer. Then it has a T-handle on it that has to be turned in line with the gas line for it having gas coming from your propane bottles to the outside grill. It does give you an outside sink, gives you hot and cold running water, and an outside refrigerator. The controls for the outside refrigerator is in the upper right-hand corner. TV reception is not too bad. That's a TV station that's 80 miles away from here. Working off the antenna on top and the power booster behind the TV in the living room area. We also have our two low water drain points down below. The red side is the hot side of the water system. The blue side is the cold side of the water system. Those are used for winterizing and dewinterizing in the trailer. We have a back door on it that accesses you into the bathroom area. Fold out set of steps. Two outside speakers. I'll have to show you more about the speakers when we get to the inside. Hot water heater is the next connection up. It is gas and electric. Electric switch is in the lower left-hand corner on the outside. Your gas switch is going to be on the monitor panel on the inside of the unit. You always want to pop the pop-off valve to make sure that you have water coming out of it before you turn on electric or gas, either way. Also has an anode rod down here in the bottom for draining the hot water heater. An anode rod also takes all the impurities out of the water that's in the hot water heater tank, eats up that rod instead of eating up the inside of the tank. Anytime the steel rod in the center is short, it's time to replace it. They're usually good for 2 years or about 10,000 gallons of water. The next connection up is the outside of the furnace. It's going to suck cold air in the top, hot air out the bottom. I always suggest putting the mud dauber screen over the outside of the furnace to keep the mud daubers from going in and building their little dirt dust on the inside. That screen's less than 15 bucks to cover the outside of the furnace. It's $145 an hour for every hour that we have to take the furnace out and clean the mud daubers out of it. We also have a 110 outlet on this side of the trailer on the outside, that if you wanted to listen to the ball game underneath the canopy up on top. We also have the doggy hook on the left side of the door. We also have a metal toolbox underneath the front door steps that's open with a 751 key, has a metal bottom in it. And then in your very front compartment up here at the front, it has a push button in the center of the light on this side of the compartment. It also has a 110 outlet in the left-hand side lower part of this compartment. And it also has your rest of your hitch package that goes onto the truck and the bars to pull it with. Now we're going to go back to the front door. We're going to open the door all the way up, which allows the steps to come in, out. Blue handle loosens the steps from the door frame. Steps lean out. They have a little push button underneath each one of the legs, the 15 to 18 holes in the slots on the bottoms of the legs for the proper fit of the legs. What's mostly important is once the steps come out, come all the way down, it has to lay flat in the threshold so that the front door closes over the top of it properly. To achieve that, you push the buttons underneath each one of the legs and adjust the legs accordingly so that they're flat. But the main thing is it has to be flat in the threshold. We're going to step up into the unit. It does have a working fire extinguisher. On the left-hand side, we're going to go ahead and run the main slide out. The light right above us is a two-way light too. It can be turned on to where it's motion censored or on 24/7. So that when you open the front door, the light automatically comes on so that you can see the monitor panel. And the light inside of the closet area is the same way. It's a motion sensor light. It can come on when you open the door. Ours stays on 24/7. Running the second slide room out back in the bunker room. I always like to have that door open so I can actually see it going out. We're going to come back up to the top of the monitor panel. Shows you your battery life's fully charged. That's really not accurate. Anytime the 110 line's plugged up, it's going to show you the battery's fully charged. To get an accurate reading on the battery, have the 110 line unplugged and then push your battery button. Freshwater tank showing that it still has 2/3 of the tank of water in it. Black tank, which is your toilet water, showing you that it's empty. Gray tank 1 will be your bathroom, shower, and sink water. And gray tank 2 will be your kitchen sink water only. The red switch on the left-hand side of the next roll down turns your water pump on between the freshwater tank and the faucets. The red button right off to the right-hand side of that is the gas side of the hot water heater. When you turn it on, the little red light up here, door side fault light's going to come on. That little red light's going to stay on for about a minute. Once it goes off, the hot water heater will go through 3 lighting processes to light on gas. For any reason it does not light on gas, that little red light's going to come back on. First black switch turns your center roll interior lights on in the living and kitchen area. Second one turns the LED lights on underneath the awning. And then you have your accent lighting, which is the lights above the slide rooms. Slide room number 1 is your main slide in the living and kitchen area. Slide room 2 is your bunk room slide that slides out back there. And then you also have your awning switch that runs the awning out. So we're just going ahead and run it out. I think the front door is holding the front arm in place.
Yep.
Run the awning all the way out. Each one of the awning arms has a pinch point at the bottom brace on the awning. It can be pulled back, tighten up the little black knob, which puts a pitch of the rain going off one side of the awning or the other. Both arms have it on it. Just pull down on the arm, tighten up the black knob, and it will change the pitch of the awning from front to back. Either way you want it to have it. We're going to come back up to the TV on the inside. We'll turn it on real quick. This TV on the inside got just like the TV on the outside did. It had 42 channels on it. The little remote does the stereo. Little red button turns it on and off. Still not too bad a picture for a TV station that's 80 miles away from here. Got 42 channels on the TV when we auto scanned it. On your AM FM stereo, you have zones 1 and 2. Zone 1 is inside. We'll turn it off. We'll turn zone 2 on, which will be your 2 outside speakers. Also has a HDMI cord hookup and a USB port hookup on the stereo. Fireplace, supposed to have a remote with it. It's been on order as soon as it comes in, but it can be operated from the push buttons on the front. We can change the color of the flames. rocks and temperature. It does have an on and off button that can be manually used, but it does have a remote for the fireplace. It just wasn't in the unit when I come to it, but it's on its way. It's been ordered. The brown vents on the cabinets are for the heat vents. The white circle vents in the ceiling are for the ACs. It does have a travel lock on the refrigerator. Pull it to the side. We're going to open up the freezer section and the refrigerator section. The freezer section has its own control up at the top, but on the thermostat at the top, if you turn it over to where it says colder, it keeps all the cold air in the top till the freezer gets down to the freezing temperature. Once it gets down to freezing temperature, you have to turn it back to the cold side. That allows the cold air from the top to come down into the bottom, which is set with the push button in the refrigerator part of it. But if you turn it to colder at the top, it keeps all the cold air at the top. It doesn't let anything come down until you turn it back midways or back to where it says colder, and then use your push buttons on the bottom of the refrigerator for setting the temperature in it. We're going to close that right back up, pull the handle over it. It does have a breaker box marked on the lid what each one of the breakers are, and on our 12-volt car fuses up top, it shows you exactly what they are. It gives you about 7 spots in the middle that's still open for extra 12-volt appliances. We're going to come back up to the microwave. Microwave has a clock button, so you can set the clock on the microwave. Did warm my coffee up in it a couple times. Does have a rotating tray up in top. Come down to the hood range. It does have a light for cooking and a fan. For that fan to work properly, the 2 tabs on the outside vent have to be opened up to allow smoke to come from the inside of the trailer to the outside. It does have a glass stove top that lifts up 2 times up out of the way. Also protects the mini blind in behind it. Turn to the highlight position, hold down on the button. Anytime it has gas coming through it, the valve will be turned red. There we go. And then you can dial up the temperature for whichever one you want it to. Light all 3 of the burners on top by pushing in on the knob, turning the igniters on. Same way with the oven. You're going to turn it to where it says pilot on. Hold down on the button here too. It does have the same kind of igniter up the top that is at the bottom that will light the oven. You might have to change over to the button to where the light's on in the bottom before you have the striker come on and light. Sometimes it takes the oven a little bit longer to light than the stovetop does. There we go. Once the pilot's lit, let it run for just about a minute and then dial your temperature up for whatever you want the temperature of it to be. Also has the light in the oven area so that you can see what you're cooking. The 2 lights above the sink have to be turned on by hand. They have a little push button in the center that turns those on. There is a 110 outlet at the bottom of the cabinet, left side of the sink. 2 sets of keys for the trailer. 1 purple key does the front door lock and deadbolt. The other purple key does the back door lock and deadbolt. The 2 gray keys do your outside kitchenette. The little 751 key does your toolbox underneath the steps. And then the black Bauer key does your 2 slam locks on your 2 front compartment doors. We also have a manual crank handle for the slide rooms. For any reason the slide rooms won't work on their own, there is a manual way that you can crank them in and out. This wrench goes up underneath the door side fender skirt and cranks the room opposite of it on and off. All the rest of the paperwork that was in the trailer is in the green bag. We'll put them keys back down in there. On your kitchen faucet. Hot water's on the left side, cold water's on the right side. Does not have water coming out of it till you pull back on the handle. Stovetop. Before you put the glass stovetop back down to the griddle, touch the griddle by hand to make sure that it doesn't burn you. And then you can lay the glass stovetop back down. We have 4 drawers on the left hand side of the kitchen sink. Inside this cabinet here, there is a panel on the left-hand side of that cabinet. Take the 2 screws out of that, accesses you into the back of the hot water heater. 2 white valves on the back of the hot water heater are pointed towards the heater itself. Allows cold water to go in the bottom, hot water to come out the top. When you get ready to winterize in the wintertime, those handles turn sideways, which makes a loop at the back of the hot water heater so that the hot water heater doesn't have to be filled with antifreeze. We also have a doggy tray in the drawer down at the bottom for water and food. We also have an LP detector and carbon monoxide detector inside the kitchen area. 1 continuous beep for LP, 4 sharp beeps twice in a row for propane or for carbon monoxide. We're going to come back up to the thermostat. We're going to turn it on. It's telling you that it is on the cool side. You'll dial your temperature down for it. Hit the fan button. You can change the fan speed from high to low to auto. You always want to run in the auto position. Hit the mode button one more time. It brings it down for the heat side of it. You'll dial your temperature up for it. Bring it down one more time. It says dry for the AC in the living room area for drying the moisture out of the inside of the trailer. We're going to step right around this corner here to the bathroom area. Light switch on the wall turns the lights above us on. We do have our GFCI outlet in the bathroom. Here again we have hot water on the left side of the shower and the faucet, cold water on the right hand side. We have a medicine cabinet, 2 shelves up top. We do have a little bit of storage down below the bathroom sink. We also have a round vent in the ceiling to bring in air conditioning in. Narrow knob cranks the vent above us open. A little black switch turns the fan on. On the toilet, it has a single foot flush on the right hand side of the toilet. Push halfway down, fills with water, push all the way down, fills and dumps. Showers just like you have at home, does have the hot water on the left side of the faucet, cold water on the right. Also has the dome up in the top of the shower for the taller guys. The second door here back in the bathroom does have a deadbolt lock on it, the red handle. We'll lock the deadbolt so nobody can come in while you're using the bathroom from the outside. We're going to step just around the corner here. Have another light switch on the wall that turns the 2 lights above us on. The 2 lights above the bunk have to be turned on by hand, have a little push button in the center of it. We do have a USB port on the top bunk. We have a ladder for going up top on either one of the bunks. There is another place for a TV here with a 110 outlet, a park cable or satellite hookup here in the bunk room. It does have its own fire escape window. Pretty self-explanatory. Grab hold of the red handle on the screen, pulls the screen loose. This handle here will come out and goes right through the bottom of the window. Handle will go all the way through the window frame so that you can access out the back window of the unit. The light above each one of the bunks have to be turned on by hand. There is a little screw switch on the side that allows the front bunk to come down. You can make the couch into a bed, or you can use it for recliners. It does have a footrest on either side. When you get ready to not use the top bunk, it just pushes up, clips back into place. Bottom bunk will fold out. Little handle on either side of the couch puts the footrest out. You kind of have to lift up on the footrest to push it back into place. It does have another 110 outlet for a different 110 appliance in the bunk room area. Air conditioner in the ceiling. We're going to run the thermostat wide open on it. It is hand controlled. Comes out 5 different places, right underneath and all 4 sides. Gets pretty cold back in the bunk room area with it on too though. We're going to step back up towards the kitchen table. Coat rack here to the side. The light above the table has to be turned on by hand. Little push button in the center, outside stroke of it turns it on and off. Now that table will also fold the legs up, comes down between the 2 benches, take the 2 back cushions over the top of the table to make a smaller bed there. And since that is a bedded area, there is a fire escape window behind it that you can access out of. It does have drawer space underneath both the dinette seats. two lights above the couch have to be turned on by hand. Another fire exit window. Since the couch butterflies out into a bed, it's pretty simple. We'll take the two back cushions off, stick them right over here at the dinette. Lift up on the bottom of the couch, folds up, comes out, lays down into position. Headrest on the back, folds down to keep your pillows from going down in behind the couch. Makes it into a pretty good sized bed for two adults in the front. We're going to hold the top back up. We're going to come back down to the foot of the bed. Anytime that this bed's being in use, you can't run the fireplace. Here again, we're going to lift up on the bottom. We're going to let it fold right back up into itself. We'll grab the cushions. They all have a little divot on one side or the other. This shows you which one goes where. It does have sliding doors for the master bedroom to close it off between the living room and kitchen area. We're going to have a light switch on the wall that turns the two lights right above the bed on. The two above the headboard have to be turned on by hand, have a little push button in the center of them. Then we also have a USB port on either side of the bed and a 110 plug up on either side of the bed. We also have the vent in the ceiling. Narrow knob cranks it up. Does not have a fan in this vent. Does have pretty good size storage up underneath the bed. Two drawers on the left hand side, big open space on the right hand side, and on this side of the bed over here in the front it does have the brown vent that brings heat into the master bedroom. Round white vent in the ceiling brings air conditioning into the master bedroom. And then we also have another fire escape window on the off-door side of the master bedroom. That's basically everything on your trailer. If you have any kind of questions, I'll answer all your questions to the best of my ability. Thank you for your time.